So you did one today. So what did you learn? What did you realize that, like as you were doing it, and you did very well, what were you confused about? Because at first you were reading the questions as if they were for them. And it's not. It's never that easy. Those are for you, the questions, for the monitor. But it shows you every single piece of information you need to write your report.
Correct. Because for a second I thought it was, because when I was reading yesterday I thought it was for me, but when you said I should ask them, that is where I got confused.
The information to derive the answer.
Oh, okay, that's what I didn't, because if I knew that I would probably reprogram my mental, but collecting the I think at first I don't know who is going to be on the phone. How many are there? Who am I?
So you need speaking? When you do SSV or SQV, you need the attendees that were there. Okay, all of them. Even if you saw somebody for 5 minutes, okay, or even if you saw them or talked to them for 1 minute, everyone that was there. Okay, then you need more detailed. Everyone who will be involved in the study. At least the sub-Is and the coordinator. Okay? Do they ever ask Chris, like, who's like your medical assistant at SSB? They don't really ask that, right? They ask mostly like sub-Is, PI of course, and the coordinator. And if there's any backup coordinator.
No, they may ask...
CRC?
If the protocol dictates, they may ask who is going to handle what task, right? For example, if you have to have an unblinded or blinded somebody to inject, it's an injectable, it has to be a nurse or something, right? They'll ask you who is going to take care of this, right?
Yeah. Now, so you need, but for the report, you need the attendees and their role, and then you need who's involved and their role.
Okay.
So the basics you need, at least the PI and at least the coordinator.
Yeah, to be in attendance.
So we get the PI for this one, but to me it's not clear who's the coordinator.
Stan said would be.
Oh, you did ask him that.
Yeah,
okay.
But he said, depending on what will be given or what will be provided and what the scope will be, will determine who would finally be the coordinator. Yeah. But right now...
So that site speak for, if we get selected, I will find somebody else. But for now, that's me. Right?
Okay.
Chris would agree. That's why you're laughing.
Yeah.
So, but good. So for the purposes of finishing your report, which is all you're going to care about as monitor, that's all you need. Just who is it? Now what do you need to collect from these people? Let's go through what you're going to need to collect. Because this was a phone PSSV. You couldn't physically get. There's a list of things you need. Alright? Let's say you figured out everyone who will be involved. Alright? What do you need from them? What do you need from the site? Site-specific stuff. There's at least 2 things I could think of, maybe 3. And from here you need this. I guess like 4 things.
From the personnel, their resume and the role there.
It's not resume in this industry.
Oh,
CV.
that's very good.
CV. Oh.
Yes, not resume.
Okay. Huh.
CV.
Curriculum vitae.
Curriculum vitae.
They have to go with the French.
Curriculum vitae, that's what I say. But it's Latin, I don't know.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. What else?
This specific role.
Write it down because you're asking them for this. Well, but eat first. You can write it down later.
No,
we're recording. We're recording.
Oh, sorry. Can I?
Because all this stuff's going to be your homework that you need to collect from Stan. I'm giving you just the basics, just the bare minimum. Of course, at the SIV, you need to collect many more things. But for the SSV, which is what you're doing now, there's a bare minimum of things you need. In the meantime, Christopher will entertain us.
I'm looking to see what language curriculum vitae is.
I think it's Latin.
I think so too, but yeah, it is.
It sounds weird when it's
What does it
pronounced.
mean?
Curriculum vitae is a Latin expression which can be loosely translated as course of my life.
Wow. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Of course.
The course of your life looks very good on the thing I made you. Yeah?
That's so funny. CV. Okay.
We make all our students great CVs. Only the ones that graduate, and only the ones, I'm telling YouTube now, only the ones that graduate, and only the ones that come here.
But we do make CVs for everybody,
We
just
do
not
make
great
CVs.
ones.
We make CVs for everyone who graduates.
It's true.
That's true. We make CVs for everyone who graduates our academy. But the ones that come here, on top of that,
Get the cherry on top.
yes, they get the VIP CV. They get the VIP CV. And it costs nothing extra. It's just your flight and your hotel. That's it. Right?
There's an extra cost, but
Yeah, to you. We get nothing extra out of it.
It's an investment for the student as well.
That's right. Okay, so CV. What else do you need?
The certification, if they're certified
Which one?
as the DCP,
Okay, good.
IATA,
AIDA, not her.
IATA, oh, that's a,
IATA.
put it
Yeah.
and the site, no,
No, there's
that's
one
for the
more.
site.
There's one more thing that you need from at least the PI.
The CV,
No,
Which is- oh,
no,
okay.
we have
the
that.
license, medical
There
license.
you go. Because how do we know he's
He's
who he says he
qualified.
is? Because he sounds like a doctor. We believe him. No, we need to see the license with the expiration date, and then a really thorough sponsor is going to do a background check on him and see if he's been disbarred.
And the thorough sponsors do that even before doing this.
That's right.
Yeah.
The thorough sponsors, which is not me and Chris, we don't have the time. We wouldn't send you, if we were paying you, and we're a thorough sponsor, we're not going to waste our money or your time to go do this SSV on a doctor that's license has been revoked.
Or is in bad standing in some way.
But not every sponsor does this, so you have to get this. And you still have to get this, even if they are vetted that they're okay.
Yeah, that's for you to be in the
Trail master.
trial master file.
Trail master file. You know
We
this
had a
stuff.
conversation about this yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you knew it from the class.
You may,
I
but we had a
knew this
conversation.
like, you know,
That's
one
good,
of the
that's good. Okay, so that's what you need from Stan for the individuals, okay? What do you need from the site, specific documents?
I think it was mentioned earlier.
So you don't need, I'm gonna give you a hint, you don't need the entire SOP, you only need one section.
I think you're missing a line because we don't even know the address, the location address at this point.
But that's not what you collect, that's what goes on the report. I'm talking
Right, but
about
it's
what
not
you
on his
collect.
report, so you need to get that.
But it's, I think, on the report
It
it
should be on
asks
the
for
CD stuff,
the
I don't
fax,
know.
right?
fax, phone number, and the address of the site.
Yes, so you will ask for those things in your email. So this is the way I would do it. Chris is right. When you send the email to Stan, you're going to say, Stan, below is the list of things I need you to email me. Boom, 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 boom for these people. And this, and this for the site. I also need to confirm your address, site name, telephone, fax. As well as the address of your pharmacy, and if that's the same. I do these presentations too often, but it's always different.
Yeah, because
It's always different. That's why I record them and put them on YouTube. It's
Yeah,
always something else.
Yeah, for me too, when I do the review of the study binders.
Right. It's always like a different angle you take.
Right.
Like the one we did earlier was mostly about AEs, but it when you unpack that, it goes through a lot of the essentials.
I mean, you're going to have some similarities for each and every
Sure.
time. But yes, there's always something different.
Always. Okay, so CV, GCP, IATA, license for every individual that's going to be involved.
I think there was something you mentioned earlier that I think the CRC needs to have. It's a particular, other than the GCP and the. I think you mentioned it earlier. That
What's the purpose of IATA? You're stuck, so I'm going to take your mind off of it for a moment. What's the purpose of the IATA? What does IATA signify?
It's related to the IPs, the
No.
transportation, and
It has nothing to do with IP though.
okay, it does. Okay,
You're right about transportation, but it has nothing to do with IP.
hazard. I know it has to do with the
Hazardous materials.
Materials.
What does the site ship
Biological.
regularly that is
Oh.
hazardous?
Okay, the lab works.
That's right. So
Okay.
who is drawing the labs at the site? You need to know. Is it the coordinator? Sometimes it's not the coordinator. Sometimes it's a medical assistant. So if the coordinator is not the one drawing and processing labs, you need the IATA for whoever that person is that is doing that. Okay. So and that wasn't clear from the call today who that person is.
Yeah, so that has.
So we need that. Okay. Now, what do we need from the site? I gave you a hint. It's not the entire SOP. It's a specific section of the SOP we need for site selection.
I did not. I swear to God, every student just about I cover this. I don't think I covered this with him yesterday.
Well, good.
So he typically would know this answer. He probably doesn't because I didn't discuss this.
Good job. So you don't need the whole SOP.
Maybe I didn't. I usually
No one
do
is
though.
listening on YouTube.
I'm gonna edit this part out because no one's gonna listen to this for the last 3 minutes. But what is this? What? SOP. Let's think. We don't know anything about the site. We would like the entire SOP. Okay, but they won't usually give it to you if they're smart. This is where CRAs that are experienced can tell who's an experienced site from one that's pretending to be. If they ask a site, email me your entire SOP right after a site selection visit, and the site says yes, no problem, that means that site most likely has not been that experienced.
So I have a
Because you
question.
don't give all that out, you ask for only one section.
Well, there could be many sections asked for.
Yeah, but typically,
Why would you say that a site would? Why would a site object to emailing their whole SOP?
experienced sites would not because they
would.
they're not guaranteed the study yet.
So what's their objection in not sending the whole SOP though?
The SOP can get out and
Shared
somebody
with other sites.
Docket. Okay.
or CRA may want to open their own site.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So what section?
What I could think of now is probably what you just said. If they've been going through trials before, what standard? I don't think. Okay.
There's no SOP for what studies we've done.
So what's the purpose of an SOP? I know we talked about this yesterday.
It's to tell what process or what procedure they
Right.
would
For
use.
whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I told you there's 3 things that the FDA is primarily focused on when they audit a site. You remember those 3 things?
First thing on my list of things you need to collect from the site after SSV.
Did we collect this from the other sites that we did SSVs? SSVs?
No.
Would it be the
But it's
license?
not, don't do what we say, not what we do.
Yeah, you already have a license. It's not the license.
No, not the license. The license of the site. I'm
No.
talking. Oh, okay. Or
You're getting close. That's this one. Let's not detract from the fact that there's a SOP written there. We need a section of that.
Dan's being a smartass now.
Well, yeah, I know where you're referring
the
to.
name.
Yeah, there's a section.
Okay,
Okay.
again,
I know the name, address.
what were the 3 things I said that the FDA primarily focuses on in an audit? You have 2 of them. What was that 3rd?
So, how does a site
Start a
enroll
study?
patients into their trial? Do they just look at that lady right there. I'm going to
Oh.
grab her. I'm going to put a bag over her head and drag her in here.
That would be good. Good.
And put her in the study. Is that okay?
The patient population, or
Make a lot more money that way.
That's right.
the medical record? No.
What record? I'm putting somebody in my trunk and bringing them here. What record do I need?
The medical record,
No, I don't need a record from that person.
the patient record you need, or
Look, I have a study right now. There's a lady walking
I
there.
think you're confusing the shit out of him, but go ahead with this right
I'm gonna
now.
bring her in here right now and start drawing her blood.
you
No
have to get the
questions
consent.
asked. There you go. Thank you. Consent. Like informed consent.
Okay.
The most important thing in research by far. Okay. So SOP for the process of consent.
Okay. How? What? Okay. How they? Okay, I see what.
How is it done at that site?
How is it done? And that's how they
It's
get
done
the
on
consent
site.
of the.
You can even ask them if you think it's like a naive site. What is your process of consent, and make them recite it to you.
Yep.
Okay.
Funny story. We had a new PI, and we led the CRA to believe that this new PI was an experienced PI, right? And I'm sitting there with him, and I'm not answering many of her questions because she hasn't asked any that were difficult. She finally asked.
Sorry to interrupt. I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
All right, Kobe, nice seeing you
Can
again.
you guys?
Take care.
So she asks him a direct question. What's your process of consent? Right? So I chime in, right? Because I know he doesn't know the answer. He's new to research, right? So I said, so initially, and she's, no, I'm not asking you. I know you know. Those are her exact words. I know you know. I want to hear from him.
This is actually very good.
And that's exactly what happened. So it was her way of testing, and I assume it went in her report. He still got the study.
Kind of like how you asked Marina, okay, I know you know the numbers you memorized to tell me, but I want to hear from him.
Yeah, same thing.
Same concept.
So
That's how you filter out experience from not.
so it can go in the report. So, and I've been told as of late, the CRAs are being held much more responsible for the sites they recommend, right? So this way she can have an out. She can say in her report this guy has little to no experience, and how I know this is because he doesn't know the process of consent. It's up to you as a sponsor if you want to select the site. And I'm sure that's what happened.
Right. So, SOP consent, the process of consent, okay?
Process of consent. Okay.
And you should know the process of consent too.
From
Because
GCP.
Because if this is an interview question, and then you just said, well, one of the things I'll do when I do SSV is collect the process of consent, then the interviewer is going to say, and what is an acceptable process of consent in your opinion?
And you would just recite GCP then.
So you have to say like a couple bullet points. So, quiet room.
Put it in the trunk of a car. That's the quiet room.
That's why I was using that example.
The quiet room.
Yeah?
You need to have a private room that could provide confidential room, so to say, to get their consent, so you can
That's right.
read
That's one
So
of
they
them.
can focus on what they're doing.
Quiet private room.
consent.
What are they
Information.
explain? Particularly,
Yes.
what are they explaining?
Explaining the reason for the study, what the study is about,
Clear.
and probably if there are any, what's the good word now, any effect that it would have, any negative and positive of what it will result to,
Risks and
risk
benefits.
and benefit of the.
Well, the only reason I say that is because I rarely say that when I'm asked, and they never have an issue with what my response is.
Everyone has a different spiel, but I say that all the time. And then, given a copy of the consent
Yes,
to take
that's
home.
very important.
Copy.
To read through,
Yeah.
they can read or find who can.
They're
interpret.
given after they sign it, and the site signs it. They're given a copy to take home.
For their records.
Okay, so if they come in and they don't understand the like the language, so to say.
Well, that's there's another bullet point for that.
Then
Plenty of time to ask questions.
take it home and can
No.
they take it?
Yes. So they're given the opportunity to ask questions, right? And they're also, like you just said, that's another bullet point. They're given all the time they want to review, including take it home if necessary.
They're not coerced.
Right? They can
Take it home and discuss with their family.
Exactly.
Another thing you can add, so that's, if you say that in an interview, then they know that you know what you're talking about. Or even in a site selection visit. If you don't say any of this,
Right. If you shrug,
they're gonna know, hey, everything you just told us, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Because that's why people, when they lie on their CVs, they get in trouble with these kind of specifics. And there's thousands of these kind of questions they can ask.
yep.
But it's your job to keep a dozen of them or so that you learned this week in your pocket to bring up whenever you can. You bring it up. Because now you know this well, you bring it up. And then maybe they won't ask you one of theirs that you don't know that well.
Push them to not to ask.
You gotta get on the offense of the interview, not the defense. And find a clever way to do it. It won't always work, but
Yeah.
you're better off than just answering everything they send you.
Unless you already know everything.
I did one of these, one of my first CRA interviews I ever did, there was 2 people interviewing me, and I knew what I'm talking about, but one would ask, I would answer, another would ask, I would answer another, not even like a second in between. And nothing, like no feedback on how my answers are. And after about 30 of these questions, they figured I know the stuff, and they stopped. But all I was thinking the entire time was how my students are screwed. Yeah. Literally what the first thing went through my head. They're screwed if they don't know this stuff. That's why I recommend like the entry-level stuff first. But you are almost going to be at the point where you can do one of those interviews. For CRA, you can do entry-level one right now.
Yeah, that's the one I want. I'm not doing senior. That never. It's not.
That's
me,
a
it's
tough
not
one too. That's a
That's
tough one.
ridiculous because it's an industry you just got into, and even if like entry level or like in house or entry level 1, if there's a 0, I don't mind.
What else on this thing? So we got the SOP, process of consent, right? So that's the individual things you need to collect from Stan. Now there's at least 3 site
Curriculum
things
vitae.
you need to correct or collect. One is a process of consent SOP.
The name and the address.
No,
So,
you already got
license?
that. Yeah, you get that in the email already. You're right, you need that, but that's not what you need to collect. That's what you need to fill out your report. What you need to collect and attach, when you attach your report to the email, you need to attach scans of all these things.
Yeah, I'm stumped too at the moment. I know what the circle is, but I don't know what the one is in between.
What do you mean?
Okay.
It doesn't matter the order.
I'm trying to think of the third thing.
Okay, well,
Scans.
these are things I would collect as a CRA. It doesn't mean that everyone does it. Process of consent.
So SOP is a abbreviation or an acronym. So is the circle. I'm giving you a hint. But what's the other thing?
The circle.
It's like minor. You don't always ask for it, but I put it here so we can talk about more stuff.
Oh, okay.
So CLIA waiver
Clear waiver. That was the word I heard, man.
or a CLIA certificate.
So, what does that do for the site? Like,
It's just a regulatory nonsense. It's
just
for the site to be a lab. It means nothing really. It just allows the site to be a
Well,
lab.
that's not entirely true. The federal government put in place this regulation stating you have to have either a CLIA or a waiver from having to have one. Stating that, and I forget what CLIA stands for, but basically what CLIA stands
Certified
for.
Lab Improvement Act. or
Yeah,
something.
it's just so you do things correctly in regards to patient safety and
Right.
cleanliness.
But that's not important to you. What's important to you is that they have one.
Right.
now, what if they don't? Does it matter if they process any lab?
If
As long
they
as, as long as they collect any.
Let's say they're using a lab, then
Internal.
they can have a clay waiver for that lab. But most sites do it in-house.
Okay.
So they need either a waiver or a certificate, right?
Let's move along. I want to hear what the third thing is.
Okay.
I'm curious. I can't think of it.
No guess?
I got nothing.
Calibration records.
Ah,
Oh.
yes. Of course.
Okay.
Calibration.
Of course.
And you actually asked Stan that, which is why I wanted to see if you can think of it again. Because you said it yourself, we didn't record it, that you're going to email him to get it.
Yeah. I did.
It's here.
Okay, you said they have it and he said it's annual, then they just did it
Yeah,
right.
Stan kind of contradicted himself.
Yes, Stan.
You know, he said
Things new, blah, blah, blah.
the fridge is the only one they said they did 2 weeks ago. The calibration.